It all began on a quiet afternoon, when a knock echoed through the hallway of a suburban neighborhood. At first, it seemed like an ordinary visit, but the men inside knew instantly, something felt wrong. Standing outside were two men in uniforms that looked official but didn't carry the weight of real authority. They called themselves HOA cops, claiming they were sent to inspect his property. Their eyes lingered on him longer than necessary, scanning the doorway, as if searching for something hidden. He felt his heartbeat rise. Why were they really here? Then came the words that froze him in place. They demanded to see his firearms. Calm on the surface but storming inside, he asked himself one question: what kind of neighborhood watch had the power to seize a man's rights? He stepped back, calculating his next move. The soldiers he once trained with had taught him to trust instinct. His instincts screamed danger. The men outside grew impatient. Their tone sharpened, their presence more aggressive. One of them placed a foot on the doorstep, trying to edge inside, but the homeowner wasn't ordinary. He was a veteran, someone who had faced real threats overseas, and he could recognize intimidation tactics instantly. He realized these men weren't sanctioned by any authority. This was an act, a staged performance. And the stakes were his freedom. Memories of military drills filled his mind, protocols designed for moments of sudden pressure. His breathing slowed, his focus sharpened. He didn't reveal his thoughts, but every muscle in his body prepared for the unseen battle ahead. As they demanded again to hand over his firearms, he gave them a calm, piercing stare, the kind that unsettles a liar. Deep down, he knew this was just the beginning of something larger. Behind the door, the veteran's training came alive. He quickly evaluated the terrain: two men, no backup vehicles in sight, but likely others nearby waiting for signals. He remembered his instructor's words: control the environment, don't let the environment control you. With deliberate steps, he set small cameras in place, knowing evidence would matter. He picked up his phone and pressed record, ensuring every word, every action would be documented. Then he addressed the so-called officers directly, asking for credentials. Their response was hesitant, evasive. One muttered an excuse, the other shifted uncomfortably. The mask was slipping, and the homeowner pressed harder, his voice steady like a commander. He wasn't only protecting his home, he was testing the intruders, pushing them to reveal their true motives. The more he observed, the clearer it became: they weren't here for the neighborhood, they were here for him. Word spread quickly among nearby residents, who peeked through blinds and whispered to one another. Some believed it was official business, others felt the tension in the air and knew something was off. The veteran stood firm, his frame unshaken. He decided to shift tactics, stalling them, asking precise questions they couldn't answer. Military strategy wasn't always about force, it was about patience, control, and timing. Inside his mind, he ran through possible scenarios: what if they forced entry, what if they called reinforcements, what if this escalated to violence? He knew one thing: he couldn't give them what they wanted. A man's rights weren't a bargaining chip. His calmness wasn't weakness, it was preparation. As the seconds stretched into minutes, the imposters grew frustrated, and that's when he caught the subtle sign: a quick glance exchanged between them, like a silent signal. Something bigger was in motion. The veteran moved with precision. He stepped outside, closing the door behind him just enough to shield what lay inside. His voice carried authority, echoing the same tone he once used to command soldiers in the field. The imposters tried to push their narrative, but their story cracked under pressure. They had no badges, no warrant, no legitimate authority. It was theater, and he knew it. In the distance, a vehicle idled quietly, headlights faint against the setting sun. He recognized it immediately, support waiting to see if he would comply. But he had no intention of bending. Instead, he initiated what he called Protocol Zero, a mental checklist drilled into him during service. Step 1, stay unpredictable. Step 2, gather intel. Step 3, seize control. With every passing second, his determination grew. They had underestimated the men they chose to confront. By now, neighbors began filming, their phones capturing the strange encounter. The imposters, realizing eyes were upon them, grew agitated. Their voices raised, but cracks in their confidence showed. The veteran, however, remained calm, even as adrenaline coursed through him. He subtly tapped his phone, sending a quiet alert to trusted contacts. Backup wasn't far. But he didn't want a battle, he wanted exposure. He wanted the truth of their charade revealed under the weight of evidence. He began questioning them loudly, so every recording device nearby picked it up. Who authorized you? Which department sent you? Where's your paperwork? The imposters faltered, their silence louder than words. The man's steady composure had flipped the script. Instead of being the hunted, he was the one leading the hunt. In the end, the imposters retreated. They mumbled excuses, backing toward their car, masks slipping completely as fear replaced authority. The crowd that had gathered outside watched them drive off, whispers turning to outrage. The veteran didn't celebrate, he simply stood tall, knowing the fight wasn't over. He had defended his rights, his home, and his integrity with nothing more than discipline, patience, and the principles drilled into him long ago. Later, he would hand over the footage to real authorities, ensuring these pretenders would face justice. But in that moment, he offered the neighborhood something far more powerful than a story of intimidation. He gave them courage. And as the night settled in, one truth remained: when false power tries to strip away freedom, discipline and honor will always stand in its way.